The greatest problem facing Zimbabwe's young women today is child marriages. Despite the country having progressive policies and laws on adolescent sexual and reproductive health, many obstacles prevent young girls from acting on their desire to postpone motherhood and stay HIV-free. To close this gap, Rozaria Memorial Trust, with funding from HIVO's Regional Office for Southern Africa, is using the modern Nhanga concept.
It's a good cultural innovation to really use in terms of reaching out and mobilizing girls and young women in rural communities. We realize that young women and girls do not really have a space where they can meet and discuss issues that are affecting them, also coming up with solutions. So we then realized that we need to use this model as a way of getting girls have a safe space where they can discuss issues that are affecting them, where they can meet and share different experiences, where they can also come up with solutions, where they can also come up with advocacy issues that they can then push forward when they have meetings or when they meet with different policymakers in the rural communities or even in different regional spaces that Rozaria Memorial Trust takes part in.
Besides addressing sexual and reproductive health rights issues, the modern Nhanga is also a safe space for girls.
Issues to do with birth registration, issues to do with rape and incest, some of those issues were actually reported in the Nhanga. It's also a space for information sharing when it comes to SRHR. Some issues girls cannot really discuss with their parents, but they felt safe to discuss with their peers, with other girls, with their mentors.
Munoma tinanya yatinoti atitauri tinotaura nyaya dzese dzatikusangana nadzo muupenyu hwatirikurarama. Uye muno ukauya ukataura dambudziko rako mune vamwe unotonzwa kuti ndarerukirwa wapiwa maadvice. I safe space yekuti unoyanzonzwa kuti ndarerukirwa ende hapana chaunotya kutaura.
Murehwa District harbors one of the highest prevalence rates of child marriages, standing at 36%.
My child marriage is on my prevalence rate yemu Murehwa is about 36%. Yemu Zimbabwe is about 35%. My school dropouts,
Not many girls look up to life after having experienced child marriages, but Ethel Bondera, a product of Rozaria Memorial Trust, who got married at 17 years old, exudes a different aura and is a unique case.
Kuti chikafu chemwana hapana sikandikana zvichindiremera pfungwa dzichibva dzatanga kundidya kuti zvino zvinhu zvindozodii mangwana apa nemwana stress bvatanga kuita se ngatomboita mental disturbed ndikatomborwara nekufungisisa ndobva ndazokudzokera kumba ndagara mapenzi.
With the power to decide in her hands, Ethel, now aged 27, aspires to study for a degree in development studies after completing high school.
Rozaria Memorial Trust ndobva vati tinokuoffer zvaunoda and ndikati hangutoda kuita sekuda kudzokera kuchikoro zvino ndaa form 6 nda kuenda kuuniversity ndonostudy development studies.
Rozaria Memorial Trust also has a safe house to provide a lifeline for survivors. The Safe House plays a key role in access to medical and legal help, referred services, and life skills building.
When a girl reports the case, we then use different platforms, for example, working with the social welfare. But what we do after the girl reports is we take the girl and give her a safe shelter, a place for her where she feels safe. And then we work with different line ministries such as social welfare and also other organizations such as Zwala if there are any other legal issues that needs to be addressed, and the VFU. So those are the partners that we work with so that the case is addressed.
While culture and social norms are underlying factors for lack of access to sexual reproductive health rights for adolescents, the modern Nhanga seeks to prefer the tools and methodologies that leverage the intrinsic power of traditions to shift the norms.
Uye tinobatsira vamwe ava kuvapa maadvice vanenge vawirwa nematambudziko akaita se ma STIs. So kunhanga is safe space yegirls yavanoya vachidiscuss about everything. Chirikunetsa about your health, then zvese zvirikunetsa zvatinotaura munhanga. Group rinonyanyotaura nyaya dzezvirwere dzepabonde. Imwe party yema 13 years to 18 vanotaura, then kubva pa 19 kusvika pa 35 ndo vari kunyanyosangana nedambudziko iroro.
The main thrust ikengeri kuti how do we reduce child marriages through Nhanga. Asi mukaitarisa ine pazvidzidzo zviri wide zvokuti zvinoprepare kuti munhu kana ari kuenda munyika ari musikana ari kuenda ari munhu anogona kuzvimiririra munyika imomo.
From the research carried out in the district, poverty is the driving force toward child marriages and violation of other sexual reproductive health rights of most young girls. Stakeholder engagements reaffirmed that economically empowering girls makes them have wider choices and options. Hence, the Tseketsa Kumwana Sikana concept was revived.
Pane zvinhu zvaikonzeresa kana kuti zvakabuda muwanhu kuti ndo zvaikonzeresa early child marriage. Zvimwe zvacho zvinhu zvakanyanya kunangana nenyaya yepoverty. But wanhu takaichiwa kubvunza kuti zvii zvamunofunga kuti zvingaitirwe kuwana kuti pamwe pacho wasawe exposed kuti ngatiimpawe wasikana izvo nezvidiki zvatinazvo tisatsvagire zvinhu zvihombe zvatisina, but zvidiki izvo zvinogona kutochinja upenyu hwake. Anogona kutotengesa huku dzake akatotenga masanitary way yake.
Using the modern Nhanga harnesses the positive power of culture to shift norms and influence greater access and outcomes in sexual and reproductive health rights issues.
It's a space that is girl-led, and we use a cultural approach. So when we talk about sustainability, we know that different village heads and village committees or people who are representing in the communities can use the model even if we're not there. We also have Nhanga, a theory of change, Nhanga guidelines and tools. So it means that if there is a partner or a village that wants to replicate the Nhanga, they can use those tools. So it's easier for them to then use the Nhanga model. Us engaging in traditional leadership has really assisted us because this is a cultural innovation, and our traditional leaders are the custodians of culture. So for them to receive the model, they really understand it better because they are the custodians of culture, and this is a cultural innovation. So for us to see different villages approaching RMT to say we really want to have the Nhanga model is really good.
There are, however, gaps that need to be addressed among the rural youths who are at higher risk and have a higher burden of sexual reproductive health rights problems that include teenage pregnancies, child marriages, and HIV.
From what we have right now, only a small portion of girls are going to benefit, because it is in Ward 8 the Nhanga, at the Rozaria Memorial Trust Center, and other wards do not have this. And we are working very hard, working with the traditional leaders to make sure that every village, every ward is a Nhanga, so that some girls are not left out.
Wazhinji vanofunza kuti saka pamaita Nhanga kuvakomana vacho kuti vaita sei, because wakanyanya kuita maperpetrators vari kusaitira vakomana mawaita sei. Kunoda dare rinenge riri kuita kuketa for girls, for boys I mean. Saka zvinhu zvizhinji zvinonetsa inyaya resistance to change.
If we really don't engage with the religious leaders or religious communities, they will not embrace the Nhanga. So for us, I think, for us to really achieve that, to have the traditional leaders and the religious leaders really understand the model and embrace it, it can also be used in the church communities, and that would be a good thing, because it will mean that more girls are being reached out to and more women have a platform for them to really discuss issues.
Murehwa mune 336 villages. Saka tinenge tichida kuti pite at least namba iyoyo yenhanga Murehwa.